Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee is one of our regular go-to guests. Good morning, Senator. How are you this morning?
I am well. Thank you so much.
Did you have a great Thanksgiving?
We had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Lots of children, grandchildren, cousins, cousin juniors, as we call them. Lots of fun with the
Cousin
family.
juniors. I love that term. Senator, people who did not have a good Thanksgiving are career military officers, and there are thousands of them and their dependents who have not had their promotions and reassignments allowed to go forward because of Senator Tuberville. I'm told by Senator Cruz last week that a resolution is in sight this week. Is that your understanding as well?
I know that Senator Tuberville is working to find a resolution to this issue. There are many, and I was on post recently at Fort Campbell, and I know this is an issue of concern for men and women who are looking for those promotions to move into positions where we need them, whether it's with CENTCOM or whether it is one of the posts that is there in the Middle East or over in the Indo-Pacific. We want to make certain that our military is ready to execute their mission.
And take care of the families. I know some families who have been stuck in limbo, not able to move their families, not able to move their children, get them into new schools as they wait to move. And it does have this impact on readiness and especially on retention. When you get to be a lieutenant colonel or a colonel in the Army, the Air Force, or the Space Force, or the Marines, or a commander or a captain in the Navy, you begin to look and wonder, should I get out at 20 years? And I don't want them to get out. We need them to stay. They're our best, and they've served for a long time. But I think Senator Cruz is optimistic about this standing resolution. It's not a change to the Senate rules, which is a bad thing to do, but a standing resolution. Is that something you've got on your radar yet?
I know that Senator Tuberville is continuing to work to find a resolution to this. You do have the standing order that is going to be up for consideration. I think before that happens, you'll probably see a resolution to this issue.
Oh, I hope so. I really do. Now let me turn to Israel. Yesterday, the White House got ahead of Israel in saying that they had accepted an extension of the pause. I know Israel's going to resume the offensive as soon as Hamas stops turning over hostages, and I hope they do. What did you think of the White House getting ahead of Israel yesterday, Senator Blackburn?
One of the things we learned from that is the White House is more involved in this than they have wanted to publicly admit. And maybe they got out a little ahead of their skis on this. They want to say on one hand that Israel has the lead, but when they make statements like this, it shows that they're interjecting themselves more. And as we look at how this moves forward, what we need to do is make certain that we continue to support Israel, that we support Israel's ability to defend themselves and their people, and that we continue the military sales program that we have had with them. You know, Hugh, when you look at what has developed with the Iron Dome, with David Sling, with the laser technology that is currently being used, these are asymmetrical battle instruments, and whether you're using them there or in some other place on the globe, for a country to be able to defend themselves, it is important that we move forward with that type of innovation in the battlefront. And of course, you're beginning to see more emphasis being placed on that. I would say the other thing that comes from this, the way we deal with Israel, our allies need to know that we are going to be there. We're going to be rock solid with them, and our enemies need to fear us. And that is something that this administration seems and appears to have lost sight of. I think they would feel that you can appease your way or negotiate your way to every desired income, every desired outcome. And you and I know that is not something that's going to be a possibility, especially when you begin to squish on where your posture is when it comes to global participation in global decisions.
Senator Blackburn, next hour I'm going to ask Senator Cotton about this because he's on armed services and intel. And but I want to know your thoughts. I've asked Habib Redig-Gur, is a superb journalist from Israel, talked to him from Jerusalem this morning. I'll ask Dr. Michael Oren, our former ambassador from Israel to the United States, next hour as well, about after the war, after Hamas is destroyed or at least flee Gaza, there's a reconstruction effort there. Habib Redig-Gur is hopeful the Americans will vote significant aid to the restoration of Gaza, provided that the correct people are in place to administer that. I know the United Arab Emirates has declined to get involved. At least I've read that. I don't know it for sure. Is there anybody out there that you're aware of whom you would trust to administer American funds in Gaza after the war?
What we do know is we can't trust the UN to go in and do this. They have proven themselves to be incapable. So let's take them off the table from the get-go. When you have the UN employing a pediatrician who is cheering the beheading of babies, the killing of babies, when you have UN teachers that are praising a teen that killed an Israeli as a young lion. These are things that are unacceptable when you know the UN has hired people that are affiliated with Hamas. This is a problem. Now, how we end up looking at a governance structure, I don't know what the answer to that is going to be. I don't think anybody right now knows exactly what that answer is going to be. What we do know is if you want to stabilize Gaza and you want to make certain that those who are refugees, those that are impoverished, have humanitarian aid, the best way to do that is to rid Gaza of Hamas.
Well, I agree with that, but we do have to, and I don't know if the State Department has sent anyone over yet. I don't know that they have any expertise in this. But we did the reconstruction of Germany and Japan. We know you've got to have a CEDAR or an overseer of all the, and it can't be the UN, and it can't be Hamas, and it can't be the Palestinian Authority. Two of them are corrupt, and one of them is evil through and through. But has anyone come from up Foggy Bottom to say, hey, Senate Foreign Relations Committee, hey, Senate Armed Services, we have a plan? Does anyone have a plan in the United States government?
To my knowledge, there has been no one that has come to the Hill and said, after Israel rids the earth of Hamas and after we are bringing stability to Gaza, this is who should be in charge of implementing this. I don't know if it's going to be a coalition. I don't know if it will be something styled in the form of NATO. I don't know the answer to that, and I do not know if anybody has developed a plan for what would be a way forward for this. What we do know is Gaza, that the government, the Palestinian Authority there in Gaza was not successful in developing that coastline. They were not successful in developing an economy. They were not successful in providing a great quality of life and opportunity for education and work, and that things have to be done differently.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Last question, Senator. We've got 2 minutes left. Do you have any time limit on supporting Israel and how long it needs to take to get rid of Hamas? And it could take months. I mean, literally 6-7 months to destroy all the tunnels because they're being as careful as they can not to take civilian lives and innocent lives. But it's going to take a while. Do you think there's any time limit in your head?
I don't have a time limit on that. I think the success we want to see is, first of all, ridding the region of Hamas, ridding the world of Hamas. We also want to deal with Iran, and that $6 billion that went to Iran as a ransom payment, the $10 billion Biden is talking about freeing up from the Iraq oil sales, freeing that money for Iran. That money needs to go into rebuilding Israel, because what we do know is Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. So as we deal with Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis, who are out there striking at our troops and our positioning in the region, what we need to do is sanction Iran's oil sales, and we need to free that money from Iran and use it for reconstruction in Israel.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. I'm glad to hear that. That's good news, and good luck in getting a resolution for our military officers who've been in limbo for 9 months now, sometimes 10 months. Thank you for joining me.